Welcome back into the Cowboys Report. The first open session, for the media at least, of organized team activities has concluded. The Cowboys had their first voluntary Phase 3 OTAs on Monday. We'll break down some of the news and takeaways coming out of that, injuries, Micah, George Pickens, Schotty, and more. Before we dive into that, we have extended our sub-lead over Giants now by about 100 at this moment. That's a pretty small one. We will have even more OTA takeaways over tomorrow, the next few days as well, so do not miss out. Hit that sub button right now. 4 big things I want to focus on, beginning with injuries. And again, we'll have even more stuff for you guys tomorrow. A couple rapid-fire injury updates, mostly expected. First up, DeMarvion Overshown continues to work with the Rehab group, but he is out there. So I think that actually is progress overall, but it's going to take some time. He's not going to be back until November-ish. Shavon Revel was limited, did some individual stuff, and then during team drills went back on the side. So probably further ahead than Overshown, which makes sense. Donovan Wilson, this one's kind of new, was with the Rehab group as well. That indicates he had, to me at least, some type of cleanup procedure. I know the shoulder and the knee were bothering him late in the year. He was on the injury report for it. Wouldn't worry about him for training camp until we hear otherwise. Sam Williams, again, this one's as expected. Rehab group coming off his own torn ACL. Princeton Fant, the tight end, also left OTA practice, workout, whatever you want to call it, early. So monitor that one. Not that it's overly impactful, but is still worth mentioning. Let's go to Dak Prescott then. Seemed pretty close to a full go at OTAs today. Not cleared for contact yet. There also is no contact for 2+ months, so I don't really read too much into that. Nick Harris, the Star Telegram, had this to say, that Dak flashed his legs a couple times and took more reps than Nick expected him to. Moving well, throwing well, had a fine day out on the grass. Schottenheimer said that Dak looks good. Again, this is not I know there's been some misinformation. 8-month recovery. No, it was never the case. Again, if there were a real game tomorrow, they would have cleared for contact and he'd play in it. But it's May. Training camp is 2 months away. They're going to take a very cautious approach because they need him healthy. If he's not healthy, it's a bad sign. He did take the majority of the reps with the ones, although Schottenheimer himself also said, almost went out of his way to say, don't read into that because, it's May. So, pinned comment on today's show. How many games does Dak Prescott play this year? Regular season. Don't say 20 and factor in playoff games. That just confuses people. The more, the better, because he has to be healthy. Let me know what the pinned comments of today's show. Let's go to Micah Parsons and the latest on this front. He was not at the practice portion of OTAs out there on the field. He has been, per Schottenheimer, in and out of OTAs and workouts. That. It's all of that included. This is they're in Phase 3 of OTAs. There's been frankly just some miscommunication out there of well, I've only had 2 OTAs. How can they be in and out of it? Well, we're talking about workouts in Phase 1 and Phase 2 as well. That's in the building, in and out. That's clearly what Schottenheimer meant. He has been more involved than previous years. You kind of had the clue that he wasn't going to be at practice today when he was tweeting while practice was going on. He's also been doing some more of his stuff training with guys like Myles Garrett like he normally does around this time of the year. Head coach Brian Schottenheimer continues to back Micah in the media. He's going to be asked about it a lot, obviously. Hey, is he here today? Is he not here today? And he continues to back that. Here's what he said. The first couple of days, we're doing some team building things, some culture stuff. We're trying to create one of the greatest cultures in professional sports. Micah is going to be a leader for us. He wants to be a leader for us. He's going to that. I felt that it was very important for him to be here to begin that process. Again, it's a voluntary camp. But the fact that he did that means a lot to me. He showed up a bit the last couple of days. He's been in and out some. I had lunch with him on Monday. When he's here, he's been great. It's all voluntary. Some guys come to meetings. Some guys come to practice. Some guys are here getting treatment. It's not just specific to Micah, but all the guys. Obviously, Micah's the one that gets the most attention. He's the one up for a big-time contract. The Cowboys front office has gone out of their way to say, we got to see good leadership stuff from Micah. Schottenheimer is now kind of going out of his way to say he's seeing those leadership stuff from Micah Parsons. So it is, next media session, maybe he's there, maybe he's not. I think the gist of this is he's getting the coaching stuff that he needs, and then isn't really overly involved with the practice stuff because he's going to do his own training as he's done for really a good portion of his career. So when it comes to mandatory minicamp, because until then all this is voluntary, and what do voluntary mean? Will Micah be a full participant at minicamp? Y for yes and for no. My vibe, or the vibe I get, I should say, it's not mine. This could be like a kind of like a modified Holden situation. He'll be in the building. He'll do meetings. He'll do playbook stuff. He'll get involved with Eberflus and be the leadership stuff when Schottenheimer, says, hey, I kind of want you here. Can't tell you to be here, but I'd like you here type of deal because it's all voluntary. I just don't know how much he'll be on the field. And, he'll be present, but he'll be out there at minicamp at practice so he don't get fined, but he's not doing anything. Like, that would be my guess. But we'll see what happens, in a couple of weeks. We do have the Micah decision pool still ongoing. Pick the date Micah signs or gets traded, which signs is what it all points to. Venmo me at WhatGoingDowney, $5 to enter. The closest winner gets the 50-50 split the pot. You can go to chatsports.com/Micah to see any entries as well. More big names. How about George Pickens, the latest on the talented new member of the Cowboys offense and team and wide receiving core. Pickens, for the time being, is going to wear number 13. That is a temporary number. Just he has to have a number on during practice. Like that's how it works. So temporary on that front. CeeDee Lamb made the comment, hey, we're both ones. No A, no B. It's just there's a 1 and another 1. And Brian Schottenheimer continues to back what he's seen so far from Pickens, saying, quote, my time with him has just been incredible. I think we're really excited about what he brings as a football player, but I see a guy that's maturing. I see a guy that we're excited to put out there and watch him grow and get better. I love watching him in meetings because in meetings he's so dialed in, taking great notes. His intentionality in the meeting room has been really cool for me to see. Schotty went on to say he's behind, but not a lot behind. He's just playing natural catch-up, but he's doing a good job of it. This is kind of the honeymoon period. It would actually be a massive red flag if, Schotty comes out and says, yeah, I got to see more from George. What do you mean you got to see more? Like, they're not doing anything. This is where it should be. So it's kind of, it's in a pass-fail stage. And he's passing, as he should be passing. Not to make a receiving joke. He and CD do seem to mesh well. I think part of the benefits you got last year of your team fighting and scraping and clawing and not having Prescott healthy is that younger guys like Lamb, like Micah, were kind of pressed into more leadership duty. And I think Lamb has kind of taken the bull by the horns on that and is kind of going to be a positive thing for George Pickens. At least we all hope. Now, again, the 13 is not finalized for Pickens. We're still kind of in the waiting period there. You can pre-order his jersey. Go to chatsports.com/Pickens. It'll ship once the official number is finalized. Might be 13. Might not be 13. Works out pretty well for the Madden Sims in which he's wearing 13, so that's good for us, I guess. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show, chatsports.com/Pickens. Again, we'll have some more notes tomorrow, later in the week as more OTAs happen. I do want to wrap up with some talk here on Brian Schottenheimer, and he continues to say all the right things as the Cowboys head coach. Everything Brian Schottenheimer is saying in all of his press conferences, media availability, the interactions we get to see with players, all of that is positive. And Schotty's general vibes in the press conferences are good. He's engaging. He's personable. Like, interviewing people, he crushes the interview process, right? He's always been good in that. That does not come as a surprise to me. He is going almost out of his way to make a big deal about the culture he wants to instill with this organization. There's a lot of competition. And there's a lot of the culture stuff coming from the top down. He was asked about, George Pickens and, how does Dak Prescott manage that? And, like, how much of a factor is he in it? And I actually really liked Schotty's answer where acknowledging, Dak's a great leader. He's such a good guy. But it shouldn't all be on one player. It's supposed to be the team itself, the coaching staff. I actually appreciated that. Because I think at times from this organization, there's, for not just the quarterback, but for the players, it's like, oh, well, he'll do it all. Well, that's a team thing, right? Schotty's making a big deal about competition. Good. making a big deal about, hey, we're doing the ping pong table in the middle of the locker room because it brings out the competitive fire in guys. They're doing free throw contests. He, in good nature, took a shot at Osa Odigizua for being a bad free throw shooter. Like, you can kind of tell, like, which ones are Schotty's, like, preferred guys and preferred leaders. Like, he'll kind of, like, poke fun at them. Done it with Micah, done it with Osa, done it with Dak, done it with CD, etc. You can see why the players like him. He does seem extremely genuine. And all the things that we can judge him on so far are good. The coaching staff hires, the way he handles himself, the way he approaches things, all of that is good. It is May 20th. None of this in the end truly matters. He would not be the first coach to win the press conference, so to speak, and just not have it work out. So there's plenty of reasons so far to feel better about it than I did, and maybe many of you did when he first got hired. None of it matters if you get blown out in week one, because then we're all right back on, it's a bad hire. And it'll be the constant ebb and flow that always happens with Cowboys coaches. But so far, so good. Just, it's the honeymoon period. It would actually be a massive red flag if you didn't like your honeymoon. Like, that's a clear sign that the marriage is not going to work out. So far, so good, but long way to go. So be honest with me. What is your trust level in Brian Schottenheimer as the Cowboys head coach? Scale it for me from 1 to 10 in the comment section of today's show.